And now, please welcome CEO, tour operator at FTI Group, Casper Urhammer, in conversation with Skift corporate travel editor, Matthew Parsons.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the coffee break. Thank you for coming back in after the coffees. Welcome back to our online audience. And speaking of online, please remember that you're able to ask us any questions via the app, and we'll do our best to answer them towards the end of this session. Welcome, Casper. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So we've got the topic, how tour operators can drive new demand to the Middle East. But if I can, I'd like to split that into two parts.
Of course.
How can tour operators bring people to this region and drive demand? But also specifically FTI, how can FTI do it? Tell us about FTI.
So FTI is probably one of the biggest travel companies many people haven't heard of. We are historically a wholesaler. We are the third largest tour operator in the European markets. We're headquartered out of Munich, employ 11,000 people, and are fully vertically integrated. We operate our own airplanes, our own hotels. Mm-hmm. We also take large risk positions on flights and in hotel chains, and create packages that we sell to the various price segments that exist within our markets. And in the German-speaking markets, such as, of course, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, we are by far the market leader in certain markets, such as Turkey, where we bring more than 1 million passengers a year. The same being the case in Egypt and here in the Middle East. We transport 6 million passengers every year.
Okay, yeah, we've got video of the background there, yeah. Great stuff. And you're a global company, yes. Obviously. Is the Middle East a focus for you now?
Yeah, absolutely. The Middle East is a very, very big focus. We started our operations in the Middle East in 2009, 2010, more or less, and are close to 500,000 passengers into the Middle East by now. We started off with Dubai, as many others, and Dubai had now become a destination that can offer pretty much everything to any traveler. But there's so much more in the region to offer, and we are launching a partnership with Saudi Arabia as the newcomer, but also everything in between, the various Emirates, and not to forget Qatar and many others.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a good kind of establishment here, good history. Yeah. From a European perspective, I can imagine a package holiday. If you're maybe a German traveler, you want to go to Spain, you can stay in the cities, you can do stay by the beach, etc. Can you give us a picture of what a kind of typical package is in the Middle East for someone coming from Europe? So destinations or times or activities.
Yeah, it can of course be many different things depending on which customer segment you're talking about. But it's of course a flight and a hotel. We're also incredibly fortunate that we own our own DMC, Meeting Point International. So our offering on ground is very varied. We offer EAT, so excursions, activities, and transfers, and we create packages depending on what is the right strategy for the destination. We work closely with the destination, with the tourism authorities in the various destinations to identify what is a good strategy for addressing the German-speaking markets. And for many of the destinations here in the Middle East, we have been an incredibly strong launch partner for a destination. Given our historical background, we've been in business for 40 years, and what has identified and built our business over the year is an entrepreneurial mindset and a lot of risk willingness. So once we have worked with the destination to identify a strategy we believe is the right one between us and our partners, we're quite good at turning up the volume and getting large passenger volumes into the destination very quickly.
Okay. I mean, going back to the kind of the package model, is it kind of a 2-week or 3-week tour that you put together? I mean, is it multi-destination?
It can be a variety of many things, but the general mass from the mass markets is a winter holiday, a summer holiday, a spring holiday, and it could be a week or 2 weeks. In the destinations here in the Middle East, we have the beauty and the benefit of very long seasons. Whereas in, for example, Spain, France, and Italy, you have a much shorter window. But here you have close to a full year market. So there's many good reasons to create a package that fit the need, whether it is
Yeah.
a short break or a longer break.
Well, I guess in terms of winter packages, you escaped, the snow, the minus of what temperature it was in Munich this morning. You
Yes.
flew out here, so it's
Absolutely.
there's demand from that perspective, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of demand, and with the destinations, we're incredibly good at creating demand as well.
Okay.
What has always been our core focus for FTI is to create the best possible packages we can, the best possible product. We're incredibly product oriented, and to create the best product at a very good valuable price. And this, to a large extent, has been how we have taken our success to market.
Yeah. Okay. If we can now maybe drill into some of the kind of individual components of this region. It's an ambitious region, it's very competitive. We've got Qatar with the World Cup, Saudi, there's Neom, Dubai kind of revitalized, updated its master plan just recently. How do you pick and choose who to work with? I mean, you mentioned your launch partner, but can you talk us through that kind of business model, or how operators in general should best approach this?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty is we operate in a very big pool. We have our source markets has a lot of travelers. We're aiming to get 6 million of those on an annual basis. So there's enough that can go into the various destinations that exist in the Middle East. But surely the destinations are to some extent competing for the same customer. And how do you stand out one emirate to the next? But we work closely with our partners to identify what is the right strategy for the particular destination. Some they are very focused on families. Others they go for the natural beauty. Others go for the cultural scene. So each destination tends to find the area of focus. And we're quite good at then leveraging that and communicating that to our source markets and get the travelers in.
Okay. So 6 million passengers a year and 500,000 coming to the Middle East at the moment.
Correct.
So can you give us a kind of flavour of what you want to maybe increase that to with so much going on here? Is there a target you've got?
Our ambition levels are very, very high. We want to grow the overall pie, not just the Middle East. We're currently the third largest travel operator in Europe. We would like to believe we can challenge those in front of us. Maybe not this year or next year, but we're ambitious and want to grow, and that will reflect very well in this region as well.
Okay, and just to put that into perspective, so within Europe, I guess TUI will be the biggest tour operator.
Correct. Yeah.
And Der Touristik.
Yeah. And then we come after that.
You'll come after that. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe the Middle East. I mean, this with so much potential demand, could this be the secret to kind of propel you up a notch or two? Do you think?
I think it's hard to keep this a secret because many others than us have figured out that this is an incredible destination and a year-long destination. So we certainly won't have it for ourselves, but we do have some first mover advantages in being a very entrepreneurial driven company that are willing to take risks. So,
okay, so
we believe we had a good position to.
So you're not going to give away too much today, are you? Basically,
probably not.
So if I can talk about marketing now, obviously marketing is a huge part of the travel industry. How do you do it? What's your approach from the FTI's perspective?
Yeah, so we are a wholesaler. Historically, we have been a wholesaler. So, given our large infrastructure and ability to put packages together, we have offered that to an incredible network of partners, of travel agents in various shapes and forms, whether it is OTAs or retail driven, that sell and promote our products. So we have remained very focused on product delivery, on product excellence and product service. And then our partners, they have been the extended marketing arm for us that have had, let's say, the last mile, the connection to the customer directly.
Okay, so you're fairly reliant on the travel agencies that work for you or under you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That marketing.
We have an incredibly strong partner network. In Germany alone, we're close to 10,000 agents reselling our products on our behalf. Some of these retail chains are our own. We own some of them. We have our own shop chain that operate under the Sonnenklar brand. Sonnenklar is also a TV station that we're the proud owners of. A TV station mostly in the German-speaking market that does home shopping and promotion of travel products. So we leverage that brand as well into retail.
Yeah.
and own that part of the distribution ourselves. But otherwise, we rely on our partner network.
Yeah. And would you, for example, work, would TUI travel agencies sell your product, for example?
Yes, but it would be called TUI.
It would be called TUI, okay,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And then kind of flipping the funnel here, how would a European tourist go about finding the holiday they want? So if they're searching on the FTI's website, for example, are they typing in Dubai, Sharjah, or Ras Al Khaimah, or are they typing in wellness, desert activities? What's the path inwards?
No, it can be either or. It can certainly be destination oriented. It can also just be explorative, where there is a budget, there is a need, and then there is a search to figure out, is there a package in a new destination that meets my desires. You mentioned Spain before. If you have been to Spain a few times, maybe it's time to try something different.
Mhm.
And there's so many ways to search your way through to a package tour in the Middle East that could be very appealing, whether it's Dubai or you mentioned Ras Al Khaimah or many other destinations. So it's very much driven by the products. It's
Yeah.
very much driven by the value. It's very much driven by the price at the end of the day, and of course, then the marketing and the various promotions we can do with the tourism authorities in the various countries allow us to build some price points that can hopefully help make it appealing to the Germanic travelers.
Yeah. And is there much kind of ad spend on Google or Expedia? Does that come into the equation to drive demand?
Yeah, it does. Of course, we also have a website. Not everyone wants to go into to travel agents, and for those that seek us out directly, there's an online presence where we can also transact, and of course, there we leverage the other digital
Yeah.
aspects that exist. But in all honesty, we have been a wholesaler for 40 years. We have been focused on product and service delivery, and maybe missed the digital boat a little bit. We would like to catch up. And you can, of course, look at, let's do a comparison to the OTAs. We have been focused on product delivery. They have been very focused on emulating some of the things we do and have caught up with us in many respects. But if we're sitting here on par now, when we activate our digital efforts, we believe with the purchasing power we have and our ability to own the customer delivery, we will be able to once again accelerate and create competitive advantages. Because what we have that differs to some online players is we're in charge of the delivery of
You're
the
the product.
travel experience. We are the product.
Yeah.
So we can ensure that it is curated, that there is assistance on ground, whether that is at the airport, at the hotel. If there's a need for us, we will be available. We will be there. And good luck going through an airport without seeing an FTI logo. Now you've seen it on the screen here. Maybe you will start noticing it in the airport. There's usually FTI's logos everywhere. So our ability to own the experience and to give outstanding customer experience versus being a facilitator of various
middleman.
products that create a tour.
Yeah.
In the end, we believe is a very strong competitive advantage that when we now we're ourselves in a digital transformation, which I'm in charge of leading, we believe we can grow from a very high base already.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier, and you said you felt FTI was outdated. Is that one of the reasons why? Do you mean from a kind of digital perspective? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in a world driven by digital and technology, and I can give you one example. We have built many manual processes. We're in a market where pricing happens on the fly. We're too slow at pricing because it's manual, and we're in a market where prices changes by the second. So we need to do a lot of internal innovation and a lot of digital transformation internally to make sure that we don't leave money on the table, that we have the right price in the market, and this applies to pretty much every aspect of our business. So you can to some extent say that we're a very entrepreneurially driven tour operator that have been focused on service delivery, and maybe we're late to the digital party. We're now aware of that, and we will start putting into second, third, fourth gear and do our own digital acceleration to not fall behind on those aspects.
Interesting. I know we at Skift we talk about digital transformation a lot, and in the tour operator space we've been writing about TUI, and they acquired an app, activities app, tour app called Musement.
Yes.
Which they are slowly integrating to boost their kind of sales of activities in destination. would you look to acquire an app or some kind of other company to accelerate that transformation?
No, it's not in our roadmap. I would never say no. Who knows? There could be a good opportunity, but we're very firm believers that to really succeed in digital, it needs to come from the core. It needs to come from the heart. We don't believe we can acquire an app that fulfills what we want to achieve in digital. So we want to own it from the core and out. So we're applying our own efforts on everything digital for FTI. But of course, given the beauty that we are vertically integrated with our own hotels, with our own DMC, and we're also the owners of many of the on-ground services, our ability to build, let's call it an in-destination navigator that can offer these in destinations gives us a very unique position to build very strong digital products.
So you could plug things in quite easily rather than, again, rely on all these different third
Absolutely.
parties. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to marketing, if I can.
Of course.
From a kind of, again, from a European perspective, this may be a cliche, but the Middle East and Dubai has a kind of a slightly luxurious image, maybe not a typical package holiday image.
Yeah.
How do you counter that?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has this image, but it's not necessarily the full story. There is a segment as well that is not luxurious. But I won't lie, it would be a pleasure to have more mid-market beachfront properties that that would help
for the
grow
European market, because the beach
absolutely.
is bucket and spade type of holiday.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to say the Middle East is only luxury. There's so much more to it, but there's certainly room for more mid-market and ideally beachfront property. That would be a pleasure.
There we go. More beachfront access and properties. Again, talking about maybe potential challenges coming up. Inflation. We heard earlier about and I think this is brilliant, the Bernstein Pain Index. I didn't know that existed. Richard Clark was talking about European households now need to save, or they have between 70 and 170 euros less to spend on their holidays. I mean, how do you convince people in Europe who can easily go to France or Spain or Italy or Germany? How do you convince them to upgrade for a long haul flight and take a tour in this destination?
I mean, I think we're all concerned about inflation, and it seems inevitable at this point in time. What we would like to believe is that after a long, tough lockdown and a lot of pent-up travel demand, that people will prioritize personal finance in a way that allows them to still go on holidays. Maybe it's at the expense of an additional holiday that particular year, but we believe that it will be a priority. Inflation will be compensated by many companies, so to many employees in various industries. I don't want to say it will be net neutral, but there's a good chance that there will be adjustments on the pay side as well. So we remain optimistic, and the same being the case for the region here. We believe that there's enough travelers for us to reach our targets and our numbers.
Okay. And again, talking about driving demand, we hear lots about these exciting projects. I know you haven't got any favourites, but can you give us a flavour of the kind of projects or micro destinations or these kind of giga events or giga projects that are coming up that you think will really grab the imagination of the European travel booker?
I mean, we're of course all very excited to see what Saudi Arabia becomes from a tourism standpoint. We have signed an MOU with Saudi Tourism Authority and believe that we can be a very strong partner for their launch.
As a launch partner,
as one of their launch partners.
One of the launch partners.
And we're committing to some very, very big passenger numbers. But of course, the proof is in the pudding. The infrastructure needs to be built, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to the quality of the product. If the product is good, the travelers will come.
And they come back again once they see that.
Absolutely.
The quality of the product.
Yes.
Okay. But any destinations you can talk about? Any other ones that you're excited about? I know there's the Warner Brothers resort in
Abu Dhabi. I will spend my own holiday very, very close to. I was there just a few weeks ago and got so excited about the region, so I will bring back my own family to experience here between Christmas and New Year's and spend time on Saadiyat Island. So I think there's a lot to give. I have 2 little kids, 5 years old, both of them. And to me, this is a fantastic holidays destination, and many others think the same.
Yeah, I think these can be quite good hooks to kind of for marketing perspectives as well. So
yeah,
okay, excellent. I think we're running out of time here. So I just want to thank you again for joining us and
my pleasure.
hearing more about FTI and the evolution. So
No, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.